What up? It's Raphael with NBA Draft Junkies back again. I know it's been a minute. It's been a while since I posted a video, but I've been working. I've been studying film. The reason for the delay is I've just been doing a lot of traveling between Dallas and LA. Been working out a few NBA players and just kind of sharpening my craft as a trainer, which I think helps me as far as evaluating talent and evaluating players for NBA Draft Junkies, because I feel like I see the stuff that players need to work on. So hopefully you enjoyed this format, and my first guest is none other than my brother, James Barlowe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Enjoy this video. The first guy I want to cover in this new format I'm using is Davion Mitchell. But before I get into Davion, what up, James? How are you?
What's up, man?
All right, man. So let's get into Davion Mitchell. Obviously, has been a big riser since the NCAA tournament. It's a debate whether or not, you look at his overall body of work for the season, or do you consider what he did in the NCAA tournament? And for you, when you watch Mitchell's film just over the course of the season, what are your thoughts on him as an athlete?
He's got that football player running back build, compact, strong. He's explosive. He's really quick off of the dribble. He's got a good change of pace, even though he's a quicker guard. I think he finishes around the rim, but it's kind of hard to tell at college basketball because it's kind of clogged up. But I think he's a top tier athlete for a point guard. Some people may say he might have short arms, but I don't really care about short arms for my point guard. Maybe you'll say he isn't as versatile of a defender because of his wingspan, but he has the mentality we should be able to guard ones and twos. But he checks the boxes that you want for a point guard athletically.
Yeah, I mean, his first step, his burst or quickness, whatever, which way you describe it, I think is one of the best in this draft. I mean, he has this, like you said, a football player. He's kind of like he sometimes explodes like a guy on a kickoff return,
Right.
just how he gets from point A to point B. And I think he's a high level athlete. Um, when you mix in his athleticism with his ability to create his own shot, I think he has a high upside as a shot creator. There's a lot of guys in this draft that can score, and then there's guys who I feel like can get their own shot, can have some offensive creativity in their game, and he's one of the guys that I feel like can play a role as a role player, but also late in the shot clock, he has whether it's the first step and the handle and the creativity to get his own shot. What do you think about him as a bucket getter in the NBA?
Again, you can see the shiftiness, the creativity off the dribble. Again, I know we talked about it being the recency bias, but like he attacked Drew Timmy in that championship game, and like those are
Yeah,
things you
they
want to
put him
see.
on the island. Like it
They
was
put him
literally like screen, get a favorable matchup, and had
right,
Drew on the island, and he
and, that,
definitely exploited that matchup.
and that's what you want to see from your you know maybe lead point guard. Him attacking bigs. He had a move on the right side of the floor. I forget against who, where he kind of slowed up, hit somebody with an in and out, and he finished with the left hand on the right hand side of the basket. So as a shot creator, I can see it. And then also not only for himself, but in pick and roll, he makes three, and I've seen him make skip passes. Um, I'm a big fan of guards that can get downhill, so I like that a lot about him.
Yep. What do you think about him as a pull-up shooter? That's one of the things I like, because as a defender, you have to respect his first step. You have to respect the fact that he can dance with the ball a little bit and get to the basket, which to me opens up for his, as dad used to call it, the stop and pop jumper. And
Right.
I know a lot of people are somewhat against the mid-range pull-up. I think that if you're going to be like a lead ball handler, you need to have it in your game. And what are your thoughts on him as a pull-up jumper, as a pull-up
You know what?
shooter?
He kind of reminds me of Miami Heat, Tim Hardaway, where it was just kind of like he's gonna size you up, and shoot the three in your face. Miami Heat, Tim Hardaway, he obviously lost a step because his knees was gone by the time he had got there, but he still was a productive guard. But again, the guards that can shoot off of the dribble are, that's where the money is. And I think this last year he ranked according to Synergy, he was an excellent shooter off the dribble. He shot like 44%. I want to say it was like 44 out of 100 makes. So like that's phenomenal.
Are there any concerns about him as a 3-point shooter? I know this year it was 44.7%, but the 2 years prior, 32%, 28%. Do you think that this was just a a good year shooting the ball? Because we've seen guys, I want to say Jared Culver had a good year shooting the ball.
Shoot,
He
all those
wasn't.
guys did.
What's that?
All those
All
Texas.
yeah, that's a whole different story about Texas Tech guys. They must got a different rim at home because they make non-shooters look like good shooters. So the percentage around 45% from three this year. He's still around 65% for his career from the free throw line. You look at his 3 years, 64% this year, 66 last year, 67% his first year. And the free throw percentage isn't great, but how many guys do you know, especially guards, shoot 64% from the foul line, but 45% from three? So, what are your thoughts on him as a 3-point shooter? Do you think that, this is just a rare year, or are you buying the overall body of work? Because this year
See,
she took nearly 5 attempts per game. So, when you
right.
look at the volume and the percentage, it looks great. But overall, what are your thoughts?
See, and that's where you have your concerns. So, okay, for one, he's 22, which is old for NBA draft standards. And he had his best shooting year being 3 years older than the other guards in this draft, other point guards. So, and then like you brought up the free throw percentage, it being low. I don't know. Guys get better.
Right.
So I don't want to knock his work because he obviously worked on it, but I think it remains to be seen if he's really that kind of shooter. And then you also look at the last because I've seen him projected as high as seventh
Yeah.
top 10 pick. So the last 22-year-old top 10 pick guard was what? Chris Dunn. I think Chris
Mm,
Dunn shot not on as many attempts, but he shot 37% his senior year, and I think he was 22 as well, or his last year at Providence. He's 22 as well, and that shooting didn't translate in the NBA. So it's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say this was because it's hard to be hot for an entire year, especially with
on
the
5 attempts a game.
on five, and a lot of them are off the dribble.
Yep.
So I don't want to knock his work. You know what I'm saying? But I just still think it's a question mark that we'll have to wait and see how that works out for him.
Yep. All right. Lastly, what are your thoughts on him as a passer?
I think he's a good passer. Like I said, as long as you can get downhill in the NBA, you'll be able to see things. He does make some skip passes, like I said in pick and roll. He found shooters on the team. But again, if you can get downhill and play, I don't know, let's say he plays 30 minutes a game at some point, that should be 5 assists. I
He
mean,
averaged 5.5 assists in college, which is
right,
pretty high. I mean, I
right.
know Baylor had, a high scoring offense and they had other ball handlers also, but 5.5 assists is pretty impressive in college, especially if you're not the lead ball handler, not the dominant ball handler.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, as long as he plays 30 minutes, he should be a more incapable playmaker. One of my biggest concerns outside of his shooting was just the lack of free throw attempts. For him to be as big and as strong, as athletic as he is, him to shoot 2 free throws a game and have the ball in his hands as much is kind of a concern to me. So yeah, I'd like to see that improve as much as I want to see if he can really shoot like that.
All right. You're good at comparisons. You already threw out the Tim Hardaway Miami Heat comparison. Is there anyone else you would compare him to?
I really don't have like I said, old Tim Hardaway to me,
He's
but
bigger than Tim. He's
2 inches taller than Tim, but I mean Tim was built the same way. He's just a little bit taller.
Yeah.
But again, I don't, it's just kind of hard to get a real good feel on who he is because of his age and his production. And like I said, I can't point guards, older point guards haven't, the most successful one was Malcolm Brogdon, and he went in the second round. So it's kind of like, as far as
lived up to the hype, he should have been a
Yeah.
first round pick.
right, but he was old. But it's
Right.
but it's like as high as Mitchell's been projected, I can't think of anybody who like is a perfect one-to-one comparison besides Chris Dunn. And I don't want to call him Chris Dunn if he's not Chris Dunn.
Yeah, I think he has more offense to his game than Chris Dunn
Yeah.
overall. I think he's just a better shot creator. I think I mean, I guess you can say he's Chris Dunn with a little bit of offensive game. Because I mean, I thought Chris Dunn always projected to be a good defender, but not necessarily
I was calling him D Wade though.
Yeah, but a lot of times these comparisons, man. I mean, the most famous one, Deshaun Stevenson, Michael Jordan. What was the guy? Outside of that one, the worst one I've seen is Justice Winslow to James Harden. That was just
They're both black and left-handed.
man, that was awful. But all right, man, that's it for Davion Mitchell. All right, stay tuned. We'll definitely have more of these video breakdowns, whether it's me and my brother or different guests on the show. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We are out.